Okay, so if you're wondering why all the cars are upside down, it's because they're drying. Um, we're basically just past gate 3 and we're heading towards the finish line on these cars. So with that in mind, I just finished fixing a car, so there's a lot of glue was out. I wanted to show how to do mud quick and dirty. And yes, I kind of intended that. And if I've got time for right now, I'll show you how to do dust and finish everything off. But first thing you want to get is a good dark brown color. This is just brown. It's, kind of pull it up here a little bit. That's how you get this paint out. You just give it a squeeze. So you can see, a Hershey's chocolate bar brown, basically. If you want to spend a little more than 50 cents, you can get this. This is what I use on my car of the month builds. It's pretty much the same stuff. It's just the pigment on this is better. And so we'll give it a good little shake. And I'll use the good stuff here just to show you kind of how this is probably the easiest way to make a car look good. So, well, look dirty. Well, I guess if you think a car looks good covered in mud, no, there you go. So no mud. You're gonna get your medium stiff brush, like this, and you just kind of get in here. Sometimes you gotta give these army painters a little stir. I like to just dip a little bit in the water here. And then we're going to start at the front, and then we're just going to quick stroke and just cover the bottom. And see if you can, yeah. So I can't watch the phone and what I'm doing at the same time. I don't know how some of these content creators can paint Warhammer and all these other fine detail miniatures while looking at a camera and not the model. And then, so, you get a little coverage like that, and you're just going to guide a little bit of it up onto the body. Depending on how far you want the car to sink into the mud, you can have it all the way up to the door if you want. But then we're going to come here to the wheels, and we're just going to turn the wheel and paint until we got a nice little coat. There's a few extra steps here you can do, which I'll try to remember. And then we want to get some on the rims, but you don't want to get too much on the rims. It just depends on, again, how far into the mud you want to make it look like it's been running through. So we'll just get this right here. It don't have to be perfect. See, it's quick, it's dirty. That took 3 minutes just to do the bottom. And then we're going to come up here and we're going to do just little bits of onto the bodywork. And then we'll just flick up. And it'll flick up a little bit here. And we'll just follow where we want the mud to look like it's sprayed. Now, I don't know if the Maserati's 4-wheel drive or not. So, if you want make it look like it's got like a lot of power at the front wheels, like if you have like a Honda Civic or something, for some reason you want to make it mud. You want to make sure that the drive wheels are the ones kicking up most of the mud. But if you want to do like the rear wheels, you come back here, and then you just kind of rooster tail of mud. And then we'll get your wheel wells, because they're going to be what's catching most of the mud. If you've got a car with mud flaps, remember that the mud flaps will be in the way of any mud spray, because that's what their job's for. So, you can do that, and then you just flick, 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 flick. And on a red, I guess I should have chose a better car for this, because this is dark red and it's kind of hard to see. But it's kind of it's a similar idea. I'll show the the GSX, and you'll see. So, all right. There we go. That's mud. Well, this first stage of our mud. You can see here on the GSX, it's a brighter yellow. With this bright yellow, you can kind of see how we're just kicking it up a little bit here, you know. And, you know, depending on how much, like I said, you wanted to cover the details of the car. Yeah. But anyway, that's their first stage. And the second stage is to take a lighter color. And I've got what they call this wet mud effect. And it is needing to be shook up a bit. I haven't used this in a while. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to. But you can see it's a lighter brown. And then we're just going to take this, and then we're going to take a napkin, and we're going to do like a dry brush. But it's not going to be, you're not going to do like a real a light brush. You're still just wanting to make it like this here, like this trailer. You just want it goopy, a little bit goopy. You know, catch everything. Where's the mud? Where's the stuff here? And you just want to build it up because you want this to kind of get into the cracks, and you want to kind of give it some texture and stuff. I like this effects paint because it does kind of have like that gooey feel to it. So a little bit like that. Let's see if we can get a brighter color vehicle so you can actually see what I'm doing. All right, so we'll use this one again. All right, so also you can do this. This is again a great way to determine if you've got enough on a dry brush. You see how I just did my thumb there? You know, too much, just about right. And then we'll come up here, kick that up there, kick that up there. Just follow where you went the last time. You don't have to do the wheels if you don't want to. You just want to get a little bit of the mud up there. And so, you know, we're not doing a lot. It's not making, you know, you're not covering the whole car. You're just doing a little bit to add some texture and stuff to it. Because the final step is the step that will bring out a lot of the detail in the vehicle. So, you know, come up here. And also, when you're doing mud effects, if you got like this brown door on this Bronco, this isn't Rutherford, of course, but this is just, you see here, by doing a little bit of a lighter brown, you can actually make your mud look better. You can bring it out some more, so it actually looks muddy. Yeah. Again, there's no. Also, use brushes you don't care about for this, because you're going to be dry brushing and you're going to be just slapping the damn bottle, and you're not really worried about finesse or anything. Matter of fact, if you try to finesse it, it'll look fake. It really will look fake as hell if you try to like itty bitty it, because mud doesn't obey you. It goes everywhere and it gets everywhere. And another thing you can do is if you've got like a reddish brown ink, you can wash it and make a mud effect, and that works out pretty well too. So like this car here, you can come up here and just like, see, this is it without wiping it off, and you can kind of see it. It's not quite as good. I don't like it that way. So we're gonna just a little bit here, get a little bit of this mud on the British. I'm not British. I don't know what that circular symbol is. I've always just thought of this as a British insignia. But you can just come up here and get a little bit there. Make a little mistake, you just wipe it off. You know, use your thumb. Use your fingers. Who cares if you get a little dirty? That's part of the fun. And you can kind of see now where the mud effects kind of highlight everything. And so I got that. And again, this is really simple, really easy. And so get that there. And I would probably, if I knew how to speed up this, some of the other how-to videos and stuff, I've seen people sit at their desk and they somehow speed up the, what they're doing. So, you know, 10 minutes of work goes by in like 2 minutes. I don't know how to do that. I'll just get a little bit more there. Like I said, we're not trying to make this really intense. We just want a lighter reddish color to kind of break everything up. So yeah, you can see here where I kind of gooped up on this one. And then we just put this and it breaks it a little bit there. The other thing to think about is mud when it's, you know, wet is a little bit darker, and then when it dries it gets a little bit lighter. So we're going to come in there, a little bit there. This is these tank tracks here, and the way it's set up, it's not going to get a lot of mud spray on this one. So we're just going to come up here, get a little bit there. We just want to hit the highlights. And get that tank track there. Get this track all goopy. And I'll flick it a little bit there. Again, don't worry about doing natural brush strokes because it's mud. It doesn't do natural. It goes and splatters and splooshes and stuff. So, yeah, you don't have to be perfect. And so you see here, I got that way too much. Yeah. Again, I gotta figure out how to get this. There's better people than me when it comes to camera work and how to do stuff. And you can just kind of see here, it's nothing hard. Anybody can do this. And so I just give it a good smack. And so come up here, get a little bit more mud, get a little bit on the tires. And yeah, I mean, I know it's kind of silly that you're putting this like performance car in mud, but Gaslands vehicles are technically like supposed to be ready for all terrains. I like to see people do snow effects on Gaslands cars. You don't see it a lot because like the default is snow, like your Mad Max deserts and stuff. But yeah, I live real close to the Appalachian Mountains, so it's I'm a mountain guy, so I think about what a post-apocalypse would be in real thick mud. And here in Carolina, we've got like what they call red clay, and that stuff. Man, that is some of the stickiest, gooey mud you've ever seen in your life, and it gets everywhere. And so now we're using up a little bit of this here, so I might have to get a little bit more to finish off the last car I was working on. And just a little more. We don't need a lot. Alright. Yeah, red vehicles. This looks better in person. I don't know how it's going to look on the camera. A little too much there. Alright, so got one more vehicle here to do. I don't want to set that down in the wet mud. I want this to dry a little bit. It does dry fairly quickly though, so you can move on to the next step. worry too much about that. Alright. This vehicle here, it's not a part of the Rutherford thing, but it was just one I wanted to work on. Because it had a very smashed up chassis and stuff. You can actually see the cracks and stuff. So, I broke it with my fingers. So, I just wanted to see if I could fix it up some. And it's been giving me a headache. This is a Maisto Jaguar. I don't know if this was just a bad cast, but it's god awful as far as quality goes. This thing here just fell out, and I've got a little bit of super glue up there. So I'm gonna put a little bit of mud. We'll say a glob of mud got thrown from another vehicle and got up there, and we'll do that. And so they had some mud hit the windshield there, cover up that little bit of mistake there. And you can do that. Again, you know, mud doesn't really obey physics. Well, it does obey physics, but it doesn't obey you. It goes wherever it wants to go. Alright. So, actually, I still need to do a little more there. Not done yet. Look at this one just... Alright. Can you tell I'm nervous about doing this? I would have never done this at all if Jay hadn't JDC hadn't basically told me to do it. Again, that's that. Now, wash out our brush, and then we're going to do the thing that I am not super confident on, and that is the dust. The only reason I'm not confident is because it's not how I used to do dusting. I used to take a brush like this, and I used to, you know, basically do a highlight over top of everything. I saw where they used a makeup brush, like this one. I think I got too big of a brush for this, because I tend to overcorrect. But we're going to take a real light color, like this one. And, yeah, I'm just going to do this real quick on this, for this video. And, first off, we need to shake this paint up. Cheap paint, you have to shake up a lot. You really do. And, it can be frustrating. But when you can't afford a lot of paint, like, this stuff is expensive to me. Like, $4 a little thing. I go through it. And, I think Games Workshop paint's even worse now, ain't it? But I want to get ourselves a little napkin. And, we need a napkin. Or towel. Paper towel. Alright. So what we're going to do is, it's essentially a dry brush. But they use this kind of a brush that, from what I've seen, it does work wonders. So of course we're going to get a lot of the paint off in one go. And then we'll use our volunteer here. And we're just going to brush a little bit here. Catch the highlights. Hence the name. And we'll get the hood. Get the roof. And try not to get a guy, because he's probably going to wipe off some of this. We'll get a little bit there. Just get a little bit. And then we'll come up here. Get the top of the barrel. And again, the reason I'm going from the front of the car to the back of the car is because it's moving forward. So everything's going to kind of hit and go in that direction. So very light. not doing too much here. And so we come here, hit our mud, and get our tires a little bit here. If I do it real quick on the bottom, you can actually kind of see how it actually really makes a difference. And yeah, it picks up really well. And this car here is now done. And so yeah, I'm gonna do the rest of these, and then we'll do a complete video of everything I've done for the month of October. And we'll also do one little final word on Rutherford and everything. But that's pretty much it. Alright, here we go. Okay, so finished products. So this is our Range Rover, rockets, minigun, and the guy in the back here's got a shotgun and a kitty cat for luck. So this is again one of your typical Rutherford builds. So like I said, I'm going to be trying to put all these videos together in one video, so I'm probably repeated myself a bunch of times. But, so yeah. Your rockets are 66, miniguns 4, that's 10. You know, this guy here with a shotgun, that gives you varying dice depending on what range you're at. Plus it's a 360 weapon. So, you know, with bullet time, you know, you could pair the rockets with the shotgun and kind of have a good coverage. Or you can just hit something straight on and do fairly well. So, yeah. Basically, with Rutherford. Rutherford, again, like I said, I don't know if I said this at the beginning of the video, because like I said, I'm parsing these together over 2 weeks. They are the best starter sponsor in the game, in my opinion. Because again, you don't have to focus on racing too much, maneuvering too much. When you are maneuvering, you know, you're doing your slides and your spins, basically to line up your shots. The only thing to worry about is that the fact that you generate your audience votes on 6 dice hits. And I'm not a math whiz. I just know that you need to roll enough dice to guarantee, at least on 4s, that you'll get 6 hits. Or at least have a good chance of getting 6 hits. That's the basic rule of thumb. At a minimum, you know you're going to need at least 6 dice. So with this one, this is a flamethrower and submachine gun. I liked how this one turned out. This one really turned out good. I like this GSX and how it turned out. Because it looks like it's rough, ready to rumble kind of car. Flamethrowers are, like I said before, you can do flamethrowers. It's not normally a Rutherford weapon, but it's more Colt Inferno, but it's still anything that gets you to that dice threshold is good. So that's kind of like your rule number 1 with Rutherford is make sure you've got some way of getting 6 hits. So like this car here could use it's only got the rockets because it's a performance car, so that fills up its build slots. So with something like performance cars, they're not really, like I said, they're not really the top tier vehicle for Rutherford, but you can make them work with perks. Like this one being a turret, rockets and dead-eye, because then you're hitting on 3s. It would be a example of a good idea. Because then you just need to roll all 3s. And, you know, you could get away with that. And I do believe there's also return fire, which is an expensive perk. When somebody shoots at you, you get to shoot back at them. And Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire is a very cheap, very effective perk. Because that just lets you shoot one weapon again twice, regardless of how many crew you have, too. So, and this one would be an expensive build because it's a truck with RAM, and you might hear my kitty cat in the background. She's deaf, and so she has no understanding of her volume. But so this is, you know, this heavy machine mobile carrier number 11. But yeah, tank tracks, RAM, harpoon. That's your build slots. And old slick droppers doesn't count as, doesn't go against your slots. So extra crew and 3 submachine guns. And so this vehicle would be very slow in the game. So you're not going to do too much with your racing, but you could still do quite a bit of work with it. And yeah, I like this one too, how it turned out. Again, I know I said this before, but Rutherford's, like, there is no set color scheme for the sponsors, but if there was, camo patterns and olive drab are probably the closest. And then you got your typical car builds. Again, dual mortars, dual miniguns is probably the best, or a mix of the two, like this one here. Yeah, so that's like how this Maserati Shimano turned out, and you can see the cowboy guy, hanging out his hat out the window. Probably got a good grip if he's holding onto it at the speed, but who am I to complain? So yeah, that's how that turned out. And yeah, so I hope y'all enjoyed. This is probably gonna be like an hour and a half long video, I think. So if you actually sat through everything here, thank you. I'm also sorry you had to hear me for an hour and a half, or longer. But yeah, so that's Rutherford for you. Again, like I said, I did this completely unscripted, so you're doing short little videos talking about everything. So yeah, let me know how y'all like me doing this, or if you would rather have it done more short form and do like the YouTube Shorts things. But with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and take some photographs of these and get these up on the Facebook group pages, along with my car of the month. And that will be a separate video because we don't have much else to talk about. Alright, so again, thank you for sticking around with me. And if you enjoyed this, you know, always like, share, subscribe. And always feel free to comment, and you know, thank you for your support. And yeah, tomorrow is Halloween, so be very, especially tomorrow, be safe out there. All right. Bye-bye.